Rottenwillow Inn was different. Far from the great cities of Outdoor, there was little here that resembled the places Velmir had come to know. The roads were dangerous, the travelers were cautious, and even the merchants seemed to watch every stranger as if expecting trouble. The mercenaries were no different. There was an aggression in their eyes, a distrust that could be felt before a single word was spoken. Velmir understood what it meant. His name had not reached this far. His reputation meant nothing here. But that did not concern him. In Scadia, respect was never something a man demanded. It was something he earned. So Velmir said nothing. He simply continued forward. The caravan had not come this far to turn back. There was another contract waiting, another duty, and this one would be different from those that came before. Rottenwillow was the beginning of a new tier of contracts. The enemies were stronger. The dead took different forms. And the dangers along the road were no longer something that could be overcome through determination alone. This time, preparation would matter. Positioning would matter. Every decision would matter. Velmir accepted the contract, not because it was easy, not because someone demanded it, but because the caravan had come here to move forward, and a promise was still a promise. The executioner had entered Rottenwillow. Now he would discover what kind of judgment awaited him there. Black Retreat was his destination. The greatest challenge Velmir had faced so far. The undead. Souls bound by hatred and resentment, unholy magic, all of it waited within those walls. In numbers and strength, unlike anything Velmir had encountered before. But that was not all. The mission was not simply to cleanse Black Retreat of the undead. Velmir had been ordered to destroy the sources binding these souls to the world. And soon he would discover something important. Steel could destroy flesh, but against a soul, steel had a weakness. and Velmir was about to learn exactly what that weakness was. The sentence was far more difficult to carry out than Velmir had anticipated. Had he not arrived prepared, the story might have ended there. Souls seemed to be the worst possible targets for his mace. His weapon relied on precision, destabilizing enemies, controlling them through powerful strikes and breaking their rhythm. But against these souls, that approach simply did not work. It was a weakness Velmir would have to recognize, and one he could never afford to underestimate. One soul well had been destroyed, but this was only the beginning. Many undead still remained, and 2 more sources of souls were waiting to be destroyed. Could Velmir survive what came next? Little by little, Velmir was becoming better at choosing his battles against these souls. He was learning when to advance and when to wait for the enemy to come to him. The second soul well had been destroyed. Only one remained. Give Velmir the support he deserves with a like, so he can finish his duty without suffering, keep his word, and slowly earn the respect of Rottenwillow. Show him your support so he can raise his mace once more against every enemy that crosses his path, and carry out every sentence that fate had chosen for him to deliver. Velmir kept moving forward. With every step, more enemies came, and more sentences were carried out. But Black Retreat was proving to be a much longer ordeal than anything he had faced in Manshire. Velmir began to feel the exhaustion. There was not much left. But the challenges that remained would be among the hardest he had faced. Still, as long as he could keep his mace in his hands, he would keep moving forward. There were promises to keep, and that was what pushed him onward. And it seemed that the one responsible for these soul wells being created was finally standing before Velmir. The Necromancer. A master capable of raising the dead and awakening souls to fight at his command. But Velmir had already prepared a sentence for him. The Necromancer had been sentenced. Velmir's duty was almost complete. Only one soul well remained, but to find it, he would have to cross every room he had yet to explore, execute the enemies that still stood in his way, and collect everything of value this crypt had to offer. Tired as he was, Velmir continued, one task after another, one room after another.
He kept moving forward until, at last, he found it. The final sentence. The one that would allow Velmir to keep his word.
And finally, the duty that had once seemed almost impossible was complete. Velmir had done it. It was the first step toward earning the respect of Rottenwillow, the first step toward making his word known throughout the region. It had been a difficult task, but through it, Velmir had learned something more. There were different kinds of enemies, and sometimes control was not dictated by the mace, but by choosing when to advance and when to seek the next fight. It was time to return. The exhaustion was becoming severe, and Velmir was starting to feel the hunger. All he could think about was his camp, a quick meal, some rest, and returning to Rottenwillow with good news. After reaching his home and taking care of the essentials, there was still one task left. The caravan chest had to be organized. Supplies had to be sorted, and then it was time to travel back to the Rottenwillow Inn. Velmir would report what had happened and collect his reward, but the reward was not only gold. For the first time, Velmir's word was beginning to carry a little more weight in Rottenwillow. Velmir was already looking for a better mace for his next duties. But Aukri, the occultist, had other plans. After witnessing Velmir's success at Black Retreat, he approached him with a request. He wanted to acquire a mysterious tablet, but doing so would require a visit to a rather unusual church on the outskirts. Someone had finally begun to take him a little more seriously. That was a good sign, and Velmir wanted to answer that trust as it deserved. With that in mind and another contract in hand, Velmir already had his next destination. The caravan was prepared, and a new journey began. But that journey will have to wait, because this is where today's chapter ends. Thank you for supporting Velmir on his journey, for leaving a like, and for becoming part of the Chill Quest community. We are growing with every chapter, and we could not be more proud to have you with us. So let's keep going. Become part of this caravan, and I'll see you in the next chapter.